So there's a reason why Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is doing so well in theaters. Not only that, but doing so well on both a critic score and a fan base as well on Rotten Tomatoes. It was written and directed by James Gunn, and honestly, from my understanding, it is James Gunn's last directorial adaptation for Guardians of the Galaxy. So, what was it? Was it as great as everyone says, or was it honestly a flop? Let's talk about it.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children.
So yes, it's true. As far as I know, this is going to be James Gunn's last Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Now, whether or not if Disney and Marvel moves forward without him for Guardians of the Galaxy 4, now that's a different story. Now, will he have actually tie-ins or his little fingers or ideas within, of course, Secret Wars? Possibly, we just never know, because he did, of course, have some ties into Avengers Infinity War, because that's, of course, where we got the famous Guardians of the Galaxy scene with playing Rubber Band Man. That was actually his idea, to play that song during that clip, because the Russo brothers reached out to him for that. So, does this mean, again, that he may play some parts in Secret Wars? Could be. And let's hope so, because, let's face it, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the best in the series. And yes, all the starring casts are back. Now let's talk about the actual story itself. Was it as good as the previous movies? Honestly, in my opinion, I feel that it is more honed into the actual characters on this one than the second one. Yeah, the first one and the second one was kind of building upon the characters' dynamic, the characters interacting with one another, and them becoming a family. But this, we actually see them as a family and what it means so much to them to stay together, and what each individual character means to everyone else. Now, everyone has their actual key moments in the film. We see so much more from Mantis than what we have in the previous films, and I'm talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, also talking about, of course, the Avengers movie, and yeah, there's the holiday special, which was great, but you get to see her utilize a little bit more of her skill and fighting techniques in this one, which is great. Not only that, but her and Drax has a bondmanship that doesn't really show in the other films, and that was wonderful. Nebula is the same way. Yes, she is a hard ass in terms of being strategic and hard-headed, but there are elements of her that shines as far as her sympathy goes and her love for what she calls as a family, the Guardians themselves. Now, yes, this is a conclusion for everybody, and I'm not going to say who dies or who may live, because that's the beauty of this film. Honestly, it sets apart against the other Marvel movies. There may be times in the other Marvel films where you don't know who lives or who dies, like Infinity War or Endgame. And honestly, I think that's where the comparison comes with this film, is you don't know who's going to survive and who's going to die. Obviously, Chris Pratt said that he's done. Of course, you have Dave Bautista, who said that if James Gunn's no longer going to be a part of it, he's out. So really, there are two characters right there, as well as we haven't had a main character actually die since the second movie. Honestly, it's about time in the Marvel realm where a main character does bite the dust. And that's what this film actually grabs a hold of you on, is because it pinpoints every specific moment where you believe a character may die or will die. And it keeps you on the edge of the seat for that. When it comes to the songs and the music, classic Guardian stuff, every song that fits within the scene is perfect. Not only that, but you do have some modern or semi-modern songs, like Beastie Boys, for an example, which is wonderful. Fighting sequences, honestly, probably some of the best that we've had in a very long time. We do get a little version of a hallway scene that a lot of people love from the Daredevil or Punisher series, or even Luke Cage. There's a sequence in that close to the end that has that as well. We do have Adam Warlock, which I do understand that some people are comparing him as a kid, but really, he kind of is a kid. He has yet to mature until, of course, the very end. If you're not familiar with Adam Warlock, of course, he does become an Avenger, as well as one of the staples to the modern heroes in the comic books. Big recommendation is to do a little research on him, because he is a prominent force when they actually originally went up against Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet. So, in this film, we do get an introduction from him, and a basis of his character, of who he is, and where he needs to go to be the Adam Warlock that we know from the comics. Now, probably evolutionary. He is a villain, unlike Ego. Yes, I don't see him as a big of a threat as Ego, but at the same time, though, it's his manipulation, his tactics that he goes about it, that honestly, it's just frightening in a way. It does pull your heartstrings when it goes into Rocket's past, and honestly, there's a lot of emotional stuff that happens throughout this film. Again, this film was probably one of the best of the series, and I highly recommend it. Please go see it on IMAX, if anything. I saw it on a standard regular theater screen, but if you have a chance to go see it on IMAX, I would absolutely recommend it. There's a reason why Marvel paid close attention to this CGI and kind of distracted or took away from She-Hulk, because honestly, it needed it in a sense. It worked very well, and it's a beautiful film, the best out of the Guardians series. So go ahead, check it out. Also, subscribe to our channel. Leave the comments below if you have seen it, if you haven't seen it. And as always, we'll see you next time on the next review.